Formatting text in MS Word. Please, if you have not subscribed to our channel, kindly subscribe to our channel and like our videos. Also comment on our videos. So back to formatting text in MS Word. We'll be guided with this agenda. We'll look into how to change font size, how to change the font of texts, how to change the font color, how to use bold, italics, and underline commands, how to change text case, how to highlight text, and how to change text alignment. Formatted text can draw readers' attention to specific parts of a document and also emphasize important information. In MS Word, you have several options for adjusting or formatting text, including font, size, and color. You can also adjust the alignment of the text to change how it is displayed on the page. So let's look into how to change the font size. To change the font size, you select the text you want to modify. On the Home tab, you click the font size drop-down arrow. Select a font size from the menu. If the font size you need is not available in the menu, you can click the font size box and type the desired size, then press enter. The font size will change in the document. You can also use the grow font and shrink font command to change the font size. There are also shortcuts you can use in adjusting the font of your text. When you click on Ctrl plus Shift plus the forward symbol on your keyboard, it will grow the font. When you click on Ctrl plus Shift plus the backward symbol, it will shrink the font. When you click on Ctrl plus the close square bracket, it will increase the font. When you click on Ctrl plus the open square bracket, it will decrease the font. So let's look into that practically in a document. Alright, now this is the body of text I have selected and I want to change the font. First of all, I want to change the font size. First of all, this is the font size drop down. This is the font size command. When I click on this drop down arrow, it will drop down different values that I can choose depending on the one I want the size for my text. Apart from clicking on the arrow, at this part where you have the value 12, that is the default value when you open your MS Word. But you can also change it by just typing the font size you want into that particular place. So let's do that now. So I've selected the text. I click on the drop down. Observe that as I move the cursor over the values, the size of the text changed accordingly. So depending on the size I want, when I click on it, the text will take up that size. So let me click on 16. So you can see that the text size has been changed. The font size has been changed. But beside that, if you look, you will discover that not all numbers or all values are represented in this particular drop down. But what if the value you are looking for actually is not in the drop down? What do? You click on this font size box where you can type in, and you can type in the font size and you want and click enter, and you can see that the font size of the text has actually changed. Now, using the different shortcut, now I'm going to click on the shortcut for growing the font, which is what? Ctrl plus Shift, then plus the forward symbol on your keyboard. So you can see as I'm clicking on it, it is growing. Why? If I want to shrink, I'll click on the Ctrl plus Shift, and then the backward symbol on my keyboard, and you will see it begins to shrink. Another way is to click on Control plus what? The square closing bracket or braces, and it will what? Increase the font. If I click on Control plus the squared open bracket, it will what? Shrink the font. So that is how you go about what? Text, how to change the font size of your text. To change the font, by default, the previous versions of MS Word has Calibri as their default font. But in the recent version, it is set to Aptus. However, Word provides many other fonts you can use to customize your text. How do you go about that? You select the text you want to modify. Then on the Home tab, you click the drop-down arrow next to the font box. A menu of font styles will appear. Select the font style you want to use. The font will change in the document. So let's go into our document and implement. So this is the font tab or the font drop-down. When I click on the drop-down arrow by the box, it will open a drop-down containing different kinds of font style, depending on the one I'm using or I choose to want to use for my document. So first, I'll select the text, and after selecting the text, I will go to that point. I'll click on the drop-down, and then I'll choose. You can see as I'm moving the cursor, the text style is changing. So I will choose the one I want, and when I choose the one I want, I will click on it and it will become like that. So that is how you go about changing the font of your text. Now the next thing is to change the font color. To do that, you select the text you want to change the color. On the Home tab, you click the font color drop-down arrow. The font color menu appears. Select the font color you want to use. The text or font color will change in the document. Your color choices aren't limited to the drop-down menu that appears. When you click on More Colors at the bottom of the menu to access the color dialog box, you can choose the color you want and then click OK. So let's go and do the practical. So assume this is the body of text I've selected. This is the color tube. This is the color toolbar. And the color toolbar has a drop-down arrow by the side. When I click on it, I will see display of the different colors depending on the one I want. And if the one I want is not displayed there, I can click on More Colors and it will give me a broader range of colors. Even if I want to customize, I can click on Customize and it will give me a broader range that I can do what? I can move the cursor around to choose actually the color I want, or I can do what? I can come to this point and type in the number that I want for the color, the red, green, blue numbers or values for the particular color. So let's go back. I just want to pick a simple color. Let me say I want red. As I click on it, you will see that the color of the text has changed into red. Most times the reason why we need this is when we are creating a document that requires some color changes. That is when you need this most importantly. Now, how to use bold, italics, and underline commands. The bold, italics, and underline commands can be used to help draw attention to important words or phrases. Select the text you want to modify. On the Home tab, click the bold, which is B, the italics, which is I, or the underline, which is U, with a kind of underline or line under command in the font group. In our example, we'll click bold. The selected text will be modified in the document. So let's go ahead. So assume I have selected the text that I want to edit. This is the bold, this is the italics, and this is the underline. So if I click on this, the text will become bold. If I click on this, the text will become slanted, which is italics. If I click on this, the text will become underlined. Now, Beside this, there are shortcuts you can use to achieve those particular commands. If I click on Control on my keyboard plus B, it will make it bold. If I click on Control plus B, it will unbolding it. If I click on Control plus I, it will italicize it. If I click again Control plus I, it will remove the italicizing. If I click on Control plus U, it will underline. And if I click again Control plus U, it will remove the underline. So these are ways you can do what? Use the bold, the italics, and the underline command. But by the side of the underline tool, you will see a drop down arrow. If I click on it, you will see that you have opportunity to choose the kind of line that you want. All you do is to just click on the type of line and it will appear on your document as that. So that is how you go about what? Doing the using the bold, italics, and underline. The shortcuts you can use, I've used earlier. You can use the Control B, Control plus B for bold, Control plus I for italics, and Control plus U for underline. And the selected text will be modified accordingly. To change text case. When you need to quickly change text case, you can use the change case command instead of deleting and retyping text. How do you do that? You select the text you want to modify. On the Home tab, click the change case on command in the font group and a drop-down menu will appear. Select the desired case option from the menu. The text case will be changed in the document. Now, back to our MS Word, you will discover at the font group, this is where you have the case. This is it. If I click on this, the different type of case type will come. We have the sentence case, we have the lower case, we have the upper case, we have the capitalized word, and we have the toggle. So depending on the one you want, you just click on it and the body of text will change to adapt that particular text case. Now we move on to highlight text. There are times you want to give more attention to a particular area of a text for whatever reason. That is what we call highlighting. The way you can highlight with a highlighter on your normal physical hard copy books or manual, you can also highlight in MS Word. So let's do the practical. Let's assume that I want to make this body of text to be of more attention. What do I do? Just close to this font color, there is the highlighter there. When you click on the arrow, you can see different colors you can use to create the highlight effect. So I'm just going to click on the yellow and you can see the text still retain its color, but there is a background which is highlight that has been added. So that is how you go about what? Using the highlight command on your MS Word. Now, how to change text alignment. Now, by default, Word aligns your text to the left margin in any new document you start creating. However, there may be times when you want to adjust text alignment to the center or to the right. What do? You select the text you want to modify. On the Home tab, you select one of the 4 alignment options from the paragraph group. In our examples, we'll select different, including center alignment. The text will be realigned in the document. So let's see the practical. Now, take for instance, looking at this text, at this your paragraph group of command, the first 4 command at the lower second line of command or tools is what we refer to as what? The alignment tools. This first one is the left align, this one is the center align, this one is the right align, and this one is the justify. The justify is just to get a balance to the document. So just observe the text as I do what? As I do alignment to it. So when you click on the left align, you can see that on the left side, the body of text forms straight line, but on the right side, it's not so. On the center, on the both left and right, it's not straight. It's focusing on standing in the middle. On the right, it's straight on the right. When I click on the right align, it's straight on the right, but on the left side, it's not so. When I click on justify, it's straight on both sides. So that is how you go about what? Text alignment. And there are shortcuts you can also use for it. And what are the shortcuts? For you to do left align, you just click on what? Control plus L. It will left align. Then if you click on control plus R, it will be right aligned. Then if you click on control plus E, it will be center align. Then if you click on control plus J, it will be justified. So let's do it quickly. So I will select this text and then I will click on control L, and as I click on control L, it has left align. Click on control R, it has right align. If I click on control E, it has center align. Then if I click on control J, it has what? Justified. So that is it about text formatting in MS Word. Thank you very much.